Are you ready to become an escape-reneur? Well, you are in the right place. Welcome to the Bye Bye 9 to 5 podcast, designed by brilliant women, especially for brilliant women who want to create the life of their dreams by escaping the 9 to 5.
Welcome to the Bye Bye 9 to 5 podcast, where we are helping women to escape the 9 to 5 and to live, truly live their best life. Mm-hmm. Definitely catch us on iTunes, subscribe, like, and comment. And today I have a really special treat for you as we are working with an executive wellness coach, Miss Diana Murphy. And I'm excited to have her because she's going to really share some important information for us on how to find balance. Welcome, Diana.
Hello. I'm so glad to be here. I work with a lot of women that are in the struggle of trying to leave 9 to 5 or have left it and are starting new businesses. So I just feel like we're in a really delicious space with our two practices.
Absolutely. Very nice. So can you, I always like to start by sharing a little bit of your story. If you could do that, that'd be awesome.
Awesome. So this whole idea of being a coach started when I had my successful weight loss journey. I lost my weight with Weight Watchers, but I knew something deeper was going on for me. It was a huge transition in my life. And I was at a space where I really knew that I was doing deeper work. I was empty nested. My husband retired early, and it was a very big surprise to me. So I was doing a lot of inner work while I was taking care of myself. And from that, I had this huge desire to share the secret with other women. And that is why I started my practice. And it really was not a really long road, but I worked as a Weight Watchers leader in the corporate space and loved bringing meetings to places like CNN and Southern Company here in Atlanta, and then realized that about 20% of my time was being spent with those women I was really having a great relationship with, and they were really making progress because of our conversations. And so I decided to be trained as a coach and attended the life coach school, and I'm a certified coach from there.
Very nice. Now, when you say the life coach school, that is, of course, you are a BEAR certified coach.
Yeah. So I have a couple certifications, and one is I am a BEAR certified coach. That is a school by Susan Hyatt, and we were both trained, and that program is about body love, and I've integrated into my practice. I don't normally do the BEAR method as a separate program. It's fully integrated in my work. And we both were trained by Brooke Castillo, who leads the Life Coach School, and which is also a podcast. It's fabulous. She's a thought leader and a fabulous coach. And I am in her coaching school, and I'm certified there as a weight coach and a life coach.
Very nice. Wow. Yes. So I know you shared with me earlier that this particular BEAR method is about loving your body.
Yes.
Yeah. So I love that message. I absolutely love it.
It's a struggle for people, for women. We are given so many messages that carrying extra weight or even being a certain shape, like women that are too tall, too short, it's all this outside information about how our bodies look. We kind of integrated those. And so we integrate that and kind of end up having body hate. And so unraveling some of those beliefs that get triggered, especially when we're working hard to drop weight.
Very
so
nice.
that's it's such a cool method and ideology about loving our bodies first.
Yes. And so now Diana and I met at an event here locally in Atlanta. So we're both here local in Atlanta. An amazing.
Go ATL, see? Falcons.
Yeah. Yes. It was a beautiful event. And so we share a similar space in the fact that we love empowering and empowering women. I know, Diana, I don't believe you just work with women, but you do have a love for empowering women as well.
Yeah. So I do work with both men and women. I tend to work with that masculine energy And so that is in both men and women. Women that start
Absolutely.
businesses have a lot of masculine energy and a lot of go and achievement orientation. And that same thing, I find, obviously, that's more true of more men. But men are very underserved in this. And so I love serving men as well if they're interested in coaching around this, around weight loss,
Nice.
stress.
One of the things that Diana says about her business is that clients often realize confidence building results with the weight loss, improved health, energy, and mental clarity.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very, I think, very important because, I often tell my clients that about 80% of what they do depends on their actual confidence. And when they are not confident about what they are doing in the business space, sometimes that lack of confidence comes from other areas of their lives, such as the way they take care of themselves and the way they feel about themselves, for sure. So what do you think about that, Diana?
Well, yeah. So the core of my practice, I think sometimes when people look on the surface of weight loss, they think that we feel more confident when we're in a thin body. There are a lot of thin women that have lost the weight that don't feel confident yet. So the confidence comes with the ways that we're thinking and believing about ourselves. So when I say believing, it's a cluster of thoughts. Some of them are unconscious and some of them might be new. Like you might be really confident because you just got your degree and you're thinking, oh, I just graduated, so I'm confident. But it might be, and this is what happens with the men and women I work with, they have some subconscious thinking like I'm not good enough. Other people, I need to take care of everybody else first. And that's what starts eroding our confidence to take care of ourselves first. So I deal a lot very specifically with those thoughts and beliefs that are going on in my client's mind and help them unravel them and learn to believe. And it takes a process. Like it takes a lot of practice. We can't hear a mantra and all of a sudden be confident. We have to start believing the way we want to be and grow. And that's the growth to confidence that I work with.
Very good. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, juicy. It's hard to describe. It's wonderful to experience.
Wow. Yes. And so I know that you do that in a lot of different ways, and you have some specific tools that you use to help people as they are going through this process.
Yes.
I know you talked about some intuitive eating, which is I really want to figure out what that is. Managing your mindset, you've touched on a little bit, learning to design your unique healthy lifestyle. So can you talk a little bit about some of that?
Well, and I want to give the listeners, and if this is too early, let me know, but I want to start by giving the listeners something to just think about today with intuitive eating. I would love to give them my first tool, and you're going to be surprised. It's called the hunger scale. And it sounds so simple. It sounds like, oh my God, does this really work? But it really does. And I teach this tool not only to people that want to lose weight, but everyone I work with, because it's a very grounding tool. So intuitive eating is all about learning to listen to our inside signals around when we're hungry and when we're full while we're eating. And we live in a very, very fast pace society. And the women that are on this call, like today, and my listeners on my podcast, they don't have a lot of spare time. They might be eating on the fly. They might be eating in their car. Even as a Weight Watchers leader, it was so funny. I'm in corporate. I'm running 7 meetings. Guess who's challenged? Like my eating habits were most challenged when I started working for a company that was all about it, right? So I needed something deeper. And that's where, it kind of got me to this coaching. So even if you have 5 minutes, if we spend our lives not listening to anybody else's time, like it's not noon when we eat, it's not 9 when we eat, we eat when we're hungry and we stop when we're full. So I want, the first tool is very, very light, and is, am I hungry? And while you're eating very slowly, am I full? And it's getting your body awareness and your mind awareness kind of be linked. Because we've spent our whole lives with so many diets and so much outside information that we're not listening to what our body's asking for. Our body leads this conversation. And so that is the first intuitive space, because that requires us to slow down in the moment, savor the food, So we really enjoy the experience, and that's a gift to ourselves. It's a gift to our minds. If we would stop even 15 minutes in the middle of a workday, but not until we're hungry. Wait until you're hungry, go get your lunch out and go somewhere nice to eat, even if it's a corner, someone else's desk, but somewhere, like where you're giving yourself a break, and slowly eat, taste every bite. Notice how the food feels in your body. And the minute you feel lightly full and can calm down because you're not hungry anymore, that's lightfulness. And that keeps our energy high all day, as well as if you are trying to lose weight, it's a really beautiful way to eat truly to your appetite so your body can drop to a natural weight. Does that make sense? Do you have any questions?
Diana, that makes, when I first met you, Diana, I said, I could tell that you and I were a lot alike. So you're talking to me and I'm on this podcast and I'm trying to process what you say. And I'm trying to tell myself, no, now is not the time to process. You're going to have to go back and listen to this.
Yeah.
Because that was so interesting to me. That was hugely interesting to me. And I'll tell you why. Because I'm a coach, I spend a lot of my time tied to my stuff, to my computer and my monitor and my phone and my social media. I'm tied to all this stuff.
Yeah.
And, I think something we mentioned this morning before hopping on here, you were saying, I'm just looking at my Google Calendar, just going down the time, and sometimes there are days that I do that. And so because I do that, I forget to eat.
Yes.
I forget to eat. And before you know it, I'm way past that.
Yeah. So you're like on a scale, and I teach a scale, and this is taught in my podcast. So I don't need to go that detailed today, but I call it eating between the twos. So -2 is what I'm talking about with light hunger. You went to -4. And what happens, I will tell you, most of my clients that are living the lives that we are, pretty good, intense, amazing, full packed days, the reason they're overeating is because they aren't eating steadily. And I'm not talking about eating every 2 hours. I'm not talking like I eat very spread out meals, but I eat when I'm hungry. And so sometimes it can catch me by surprise and my Google Calendar is filled and I have to wait. But we then are so hungry and we start saying things in our mind like, I deserve it and I deserve to get to eat this. And it just, our body biologically is freaking out. And it's almost making us go into fight or flight. And by practicing honoring hunger when it happens, even if you only eat to 0, like you take a little snack because you don't have time, that can serve you in calming you down and keeping your energy up.
And I
know. It's so simple, but we don't. I know. I was planning all my coach calls. When I first started coaching, I was helping another coach coach her clients in a VIP group. I was very new and I wasn't taking a lunch break. What? I'm the wellness coach. What's happening? So we all do, what's really fun is that life is really normal for me. I have the same challenges my clients do. I'm on the other side in terms of peace around my body and food, but I'm a human. So we all have these same challenges.
Yes. And I mean, it is just, that makes sense. Okay. So
yeah, so good.
For me, that is one practice that I will definitely start putting into place.
Yeah.
Now, is that what you refer to when you talk about intuitive eating?
That's one tool. So there are many. And I think it really is tied with 3 things really critically that are learned over a course of time with my clients. One is learning the hunger scale. And once you have that down, you start fuel testing. And so that's my second intuitive tool. And that is noticing how your body feels after you eat. And it's not an eradication diet, like where you take everything out and start back in. Some of my clients are very allergic to foods and stuff and have done that already, but it's getting very fine-tuned. And again, you can see it's all mindfulness. And when we get mindful about when to eat and slow down once or twice a day, and then also when we get mindful about how our body's reacting, guess what's really beautiful? They get more intuitive about what they really want to be doing in their businesses because they're starting to see how making a decision on hiring a certain person feels. and they're like, wait, I'm getting a warning sign, or making a decision. I'm making some shifts in my business and how I'm spending my money, as well as how I'm, going out there. And I like, I don't think if I had been as mindful, I would not have honored the drive that I had to start my podcast in February. I couldn't ignore it anymore. It was like this, thing in your body. It really happens from that belief, like, oh, I really want to create this. So it's really fascinating how it does all tie together.
Yes, very nice. Couple things here. And audience, I really want you to pay attention to this, because we are talking about finding balance this week. Finding balance. And Diana has given us some great tools to use. But you mentioned mindfulness, and that was the word that came to mind when you were talking about all of this. Just being mindful of what you're eating and how you're feeling, and what's going on inside intuitively, it's super, super important. And audience, want you to definitely check out Diana's podcast, Empowered Wellness for Leaders. I love that. Empowered Wellness for Leaders, because if you value yourself, or if you see yourself in a leadership role in your life, and, I think I always say leadership is not about a section of your life. Leadership is about your entire life. So if you value yourself as a leader in your life, then you definitely need to include a wellness piece. You can't ignore that piece.
Yeah.
You're not truly showing up as a leader. So definitely check out her podcast, Empowered Wellness for Leaders. And I will definitely post a link to it on my Kim Wiggins coaching page for Diana.
Awesome.
Yes. And so, and Diana, I noticed when I look at your website, this is what really struck me. You have a lot of local workshops here in Atlanta.
Yes. Yeah.
And you continually have a lot of local workshops. But what is so amazing about these workshops are not just talking about wellness in the general sense. Okay, how to eat better. They're not talking about just how to eat better or how to lose weight. You have lunch and learns, or learn at lunch, that you are where you're talking about stress, how to stay lean and fit when you're working really hard and long hours. I love that. I may have to check out some of these as well.
Yeah, and they'll rotate. I'll definitely be having active ones in November. Just today on recording day, don't know what they are, but I always will have active workshops. What's really awesome is Serendipity Labs and WeWork are co-sponsoring the ones I'm doing right now, and we're doing an entire series. Now, the audience might make it for I love the irony of this, and I'm going to be doing more of these. I'm doing a bourbon tasting. And that's why we're doing the stress workshop, because what do we do most of the time? I love the irony. Don't you love that?
Yes.
And most people think that I'm like this rigid eater and eat perfectly all the time. And I don't. I can eat pretty, there's a lot of leeway because I've got the mindset down of not feeling like I failed if I have too many drinks or whatever. And that's the other piece, like we were getting at with intuitive eating. It really is also managing your mind around all the thinking around how you're eating and not being harsh with yourself.
Very nice. And so I love that. I think I'm going to be at that. I'm not I don't think I've ever tasted bourbon, but I will at your
we
event.
can give you a little sip and help you taste the differences.
So I am definitely going to work that into my schedule, to be at the handling stress of a growing and thriving business, but it's a bourbon tasting workshop.
Yeah.
So this is what I love about what you're doing. You're not just focusing, can't talk today, on the obvious things. You are also focusing on the totality.
Yes. There's no other way to do it. We all know what to do, Kimberly, right? We all know the world is telling us what to eat, what not to eat. And so many times those are conflicting messages. And so it's the mindset work that all of us need to undo. The third part is really looking, if you just looked at someone that needs to lose weight, there are probably 30 competing thoughts in each of our minds around, I should eat at noon, I should stop at 7 p.m., I should, and that's what I mean by creating a unique lifestyle. Every one of us has different reactions to different foods, but more than that, we have different backgrounds and reasons why we're jacked up around food or why we're stressed. And negative emotion creates a desire and a need to overeat for most of us. And if we unlock the intensity and the reaction to things in our lives and kind of dial it down by managing our mind, then that is the magic of not creating so much stress and distress by our thinking. And that's how we create a balanced life, is by not thinking. So like, I wanted to talk about that a little bit, but that's how we create an imbalanced life, by thinking some very ugly thoughts about either ourselves or our lives.
Yes, definitely. I do want you to talk about that. Because, our topic is talking about balance, and in relation to, especially for women who are working a 9 to 5.
Yeah. And I was thinking about this before the interview.
Yes. Give us your thoughts on the way when we're working that 9 to 5, and we're stressed out, we're being pulled back and forth. Give us some insights into, maybe some of our thought processes, the way we handle our thought processes in relation to ourselves, our confidence, food. Give us some thoughts of that.
Okay, so I have two really cool ideas. One is I think a lot of us have heard this concept, and that women especially, and many men, especially when they're hard driving in their careers, they put themselves, which usually ties in with their health, on the back burner, right? And I think most women are more apt to do that if they have a heavier burden with childcare or single moms, but they also have the demands of that job and are very responsive to being in that environment. So they have all these pressures coming at them. And it just seems like it's sneaky, like at first, even with a new job. Oh, well, this time I'll skip my workout. Oh, this time I'll eat late. This time I'll skip shopping. And all of a sudden it's this pattern where that is like, it worked for the week that was like a big deadline week or a huge conference or whatever is going on for that employee. And then it becomes the pattern. And this is where we start going on again, off again. And so I love teaching the concept of remembering, of just reminding. All of us need this reminder, marble jar. So if we, and our health and our spirit, the things that are really important, and I want to put family and ourselves in there first, right?
Yes.
Right. And if we do that, we're going to be great employees. And corporations are figuring this out because they're investing more in this area, but it is remembering, for you listeners out there, I want you to remember that you are one of those very big pieces, and you are a large marble, and you need to go in first, and everything else will fall into place if you put yourself first. We are believing, sorry. All right, choking on my own words too. This is so important. Why would we get choked up here, right? I think it's so important. We are believing a lie that if we put ourselves on the back burner, everything's going to go really great. It's not true. It's a lie. So I think for your listeners, like all of you out there, you're tempted that, oh, I'll just skip this one time or whatever it might be, or you're not getting time. Figure it out. And when you're not judging yourself for it and you're really kind of curious about how you might do it differently, that can help you get better ideas about how to put your kind of schedule back together. Sorry about that. It's getting creative. Like if you're not, oh my God, I'm horrible because I'm not working out and I'm not cooking. If you go in that space, you're not going to figure out what is for you. But if you sit back and get curious, like, what could I do? And that's when you trade babysitting with a friend, or you I'm going to start paying for grocery delivery. It's worth the cost because now I have all this great fresh food. I don't mind cooking, but we don't do that in a space where we're really hard on ourselves. So that goes to mindset. And I know what your listeners are thinking. I want to just give you, when you think like this job is so hard, or I can't do this, or any of those really ugly things. And for anyone that is trying to transition out of corporate or is hating their job, that thought and those beliefs are not serving you. Now, it might be giving you the energy. You might be really realizing that you want to make a change. There's nothing wrong with that. But what happens is our girlfriends will tell us like, I know I hate that. I know that I hate that job for you. Your boss is terrible. But when we think that thought every day, how do you feel, even Kimberly, when I'm talking that way? Like, doesn't it feel heavy?
Yes, very heavy.
Right?
I really want to run. I want to run away from you because your heavy talking is making me feel heavy.
Oh, it feels terrible. Now, we're doing this in the backgrounds of our lives all the time. And that is, for emotional eaters, that is why you're overeating. It's like we are creating this emotional pressure, and your body is going, please make me feel better. Please make me feel better. And food is a poor substitute for that, but it's normal and natural. That's what I want your women to understand. There is nothing wrong with emotional eating. We are human beings. This is what's like, it's a natural thing. But if it's not serving you and you're carrying more weight than you want to, and you want to experience less stress, it's looking at optional thoughts. So let's look at the really worst one, like I hate my boss. And it might be true that he's a jerk or she's a jerk, or it's really high pressure at work. But because you're thinking that all day, you're not getting creative how to work with them. You're not showing up in the way you want to. And so it could be, and if a client is in that space, I will work through a lot more than we can go to today, but I will offer new thoughts. What is another way you can think about it? And it's like, oh, I know this person is, hot-tempered, but I'm going to show up kind and compassionate, and it's shifting. It's really thinking, getting creative about some very neutral ways. And you might not go like, I love my boss. That's Pollyanna thinking, but you want to get more neutral. Like, okay, I'm going to work and show up as a really good employee, no matter how my boss behaves, so that I can create a future I want. Because that gets noticed, right? But if we are thinking all the time that we hate our boss, we're creating so much unnecessary emotional pain on ourselves. And then we're overeating, over drinking, and not taking good care of ourselves because we're just trying to get rid of the stress.
Oh, Diana.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it's such a good point, because what we're doing is we are focusing on our boss instead of focusing on us.
Yes.
And we're supposed to make ourselves the priority, but all of a sudden now you're making your boss the priority. Oh my.
And you know what it is as well? It's handing over, and this is a concept that takes some time to learn. It took me a while of handing over, and you know this, you're a coach, handing over our emotional well-being in the hands of our boss.
Yes.
Now, your boss is going to affect you. And literally when someone yells at you, it does bother you. Like, just know that that's like just part of being a human. Fight or flight kind of kicks in. Go take care of yourself, walk away, calm down, and just remember every single time it's not about you. Then decide how to show up. And it is a way that we take our strength, because you can get really creative when you're not in a negative space.
Right.
Like, this is when you're just like, I am just gonna, you might set a boundary. You might get cute. And I don't mean deprecating cute, but I mean, really empowered. Again, just saying, okay, when you talk to me like that, I'm gonna leave my desk for a few minutes. And then when you're calmed down, let's talk about this and make a plan. And when you that's just one idea, but it's like that we can't show up there when we're constantly, I hate him, he's a jerk, she's a jerk, she doesn't know what, she's trying to get rid of me. When we're in that space, we can't get creative and honor ourselves and take responsible for our part of it.
Absolutely. And that reminds me of something that I tell my clients all the time, Diana. Do not let the actions of other people affect how you show up every day in your life.
Right.
You can't. Yeah. You're not serving your highest good when you do that. You're really not. So
no. And it's taking, the circumstance of whatever happened, that's real. Like experiencing a traffic accident, you're going to have a reaction, right? But
Yes.
you can think, oh my God, my kids are all going to die. Like after you see something that traumatic, that is an optional thought. And I'm using extreme examples to illustrate, but we always have a reaction to the circumstances in our lives, and those we have an opportunity to choose.
That's right.
Every single
Yes.
time.
Every single time. Wow. This was powerful stuff. Now, audience, what I want you to really hear through all that Diana is saying is that she knows her stuff. So yeah, this has been a wonderful
Self-coaching 101. It's like that's what my coach trains, is that she will not coach us until we've done our own self-coaching.
Yes.
So I help my clients learn how to coach themselves.
Good. That's awesome. Diana, you have inspired me today because,
I'm so glad.
Yeah, one of the things I normally do is I'm not a mindset coach, and I acknowledge that, I don't know all the deep mindset stuff, so I can only help my clients so far. But, when clients first come to me, and a lot of them do, because I only work with new clients who are exiting the
exiting. Okay.
Who are getting ready, who they want an exit strategy. They want to exit the 9 to 5. So, when they come to me, a lot of them still have that employee mentality. And so, So a lot of times I have to refer them to a mindset coach if the employee mentality is so heavy that they keep getting in their own way. Because you can't build a business until you get your mindset right. You really can't. And
you can't. No, you can't. And I learned that. You and I both learned that. You learn it in the trenches, and we build our own confidence through all those fails and the growth. Yeah.
And so definitely you're spot on. I mean, teaching clients how to coach themselves. I have to work on that. I have to work on how I can do that with my clients.
Well, and as we practice our own things, we just have to remember that it's something we can share with someone else. We start taking things for granted that we do more intuitively.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, because you're right. I've coached myself and still do all the time, plenty of times.
Well, and I have so many fellow coach friends that, of course, they have left corporate, and I've learned so much. My journey was a little different. I love corporate, but I was an at-home mom, supported my husband in a very high-powered 90% travel career, and my hunger for corporate came in the birth of my business after that season in my life, which is really fascinating.
I know. One of the things you mentioned was the fact that you are doing this now with no children in the house.
Empty nested. Most of it, I would say a lot of my peers, and less is happening more and more, but it's weird. Like I've had friends like, what are you doing? Why are you working? And I'll tell you, I am so lit up by making the decision to become a coach at this phase of my life. And it is just, I'm behaving in a way that I embarrass my children. Just like I have a podcast. They're like, what? Like, you're just my mom. Like, And so it is fun to be that kind of quirky. You can't guess how old I am. I want to keep it that way. And I have I love how rejuvenated we can be. And I think this message, because of what's happening in corporate, of like that you hit your 50s and life is over. And I think that's going to swing back, by the way. And that mindset does not serve us when we're in our jobs, but it is happening. It is a reality. But I think that, like, I want your listeners to really understand, if they're in that age space, that there is so much for them going forward. There is so much. I never dreamt it would be like this at this stage of my life.
I'm so excited. You're right. There is a wave of something, a movement coming. I'm so excited.
Yeah. It's shifting. Pendulum swings. It's nice.
Yes. Very nice.
Women CEOs will change the world. We'll get it taken care of, right?
Yes, because we are so amazing and so powerful, and we so underestimate ourselves.
Oh, we do. And that is the work, is really, I help women to get back in alignment with their awesome selves. Like they have no idea what's underneath there, and it's either new for them. That was me. I did not even realize what I had in me. And now as I look back, I was a salesperson. I sold greeting cards when I was 5. I had my own business. And now I'm like, that was always there. And so for your women, women out there, there is something so alive and amazing in you. If you're feeling a little tamped down by all the demands of your life, it is there. And to see Kimberly, if you're having this urge to step out, it just sounds like a really wise thing. Listen to your body,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a segue so well into one of your favorite motivational quotes.
I love this. Yes.
Don't puff up. Just stand on your sacred ground. Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Even with the ugly boss, do you see how that example plays out? If we puff up and we think we're better than the other person because they're being an idiot, right? I mean, truly, there's some idiotic behavior going on. Yeah. But if we think we're better than them, then we're not able to operate out of that really wise space. Yes. So I love this because this reminds me all the time, because I'm a good puff upper. When I get uncomfortable or nervous, I puff up.
Me too.
I remember to get into my sacred space. Like who am I to serve in this next moment? And I hope I'm serving your women I hope every one of you on the line is just really hearing something in what Kimberly and I are sharing that can really inspire you today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Diana, for being here.
Oh, it's been so good.
I know. I could go on for hours and hours. This is amazing. But any last words as we wrap up this episode?
Yeah, I love creating something for each of my episodes. And so I've created something very special for everyone out there. And what this will be is a DianaMurphyCoaching.com/balance. And you can find it in Kimberly's show notes. You can just email me, Diana@DianaMurphyCoaching.com. I can get it to you. But I want to provide not only a worksheet that will talk about balance, and we'll talk about everything like the 2 tools that we talked about today. One will be the intuitive eating. I will share that, and like how to get more balanced in your thinking. And so I will have a worksheet on how to walk through maybe some of the thoughts that are and beliefs that are getting your listeners tricked up. Then to follow up, they can click and get a 15-minute call with me to walk through that worksheet, because I have practiced a lot on self-coaching, and it takes a little understanding of the concepts and to be led through it. And I'd love to give that gift to all your listeners.
Oh, thank you so much. That's an amazing, amazing gift. Listeners, please don't sleep on that.
Don't be bashful.
No.
It's so fun. If you liked anything in the call today, I will honor that 15 minutes. You can tell me what you want to talk on or learn.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you. And you can find Diana at DianaMurphyCoaching.com. You can also find her on Instagram at DM_coaching, on Facebook at Diana Murphy Coaching, and on LinkedIn at Diana Murphy Coaching.
Yeah, I kept it simple. Long name, but very simple.
Yes. And I will post all of this in the show notes, and you'll be able to find all her contact information. Please do not hesitate to take advantage of her free gift and reach out to Diana for anything that you need.
Yeah, and meet me on the podcast. If you love podcasts, get on Empowered Wellness for Leaders. Every Monday morning, a beautiful little tip. You can have a coach every week on wellness if you listen to me every Monday morning. Isn't that fun?
Yes. Oh, now that's a steal. Yeah, I love that.
Kimberly, this has been great. I can tell you're doing some very special work with these women, and I just want to cheer you all on.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you, Diana. This is our episode. This is the conclusion of our episode at Bye Bye 9 to 5 podcast. Thank you all for sharing in. Definitely listen to the podcast, subscribe, like, and comment, and I will see you on the next episode. Goodbye.
This episode of the Bye Bye 9 to 5 podcast has ended, but it doesn't stop there. Be sure to subscribe for more strategies and advice to help you move from employee to escapreneur, to have the kind of success you have always dreamed of without sacrificing family or time. And don't forget to rate and review us so we can continue to bring you the best content possible to motivate and encourage you on this journey. See you on the next episode.